Hello and good morning, Leslie. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you doing?
Absolutely fantastic. I got to thank you. And I mean that in a really big way. I've been on the Imagineering journey since it appeared on Disney Plus. I got to see the pictures before the book. And so therefore this book, oh my God, it takes me deeper into the story.
Yeah, it sure does. 750 plus pages.
Well, it's almost like that you've allowed me to step inside your journal. And actually, it's not even just your journal, it's the entire process of Disney from page one all the way through. There is a story here, and people are going to grow from it.
I agree. I totally agree. I don't think you have to be just a Disney park person to read it. I think it's going to apply to a lot of different industries and disciplines and stories of creativity and innovation worldwide.
And I think one of the most shocking things was like in episode 1 on Disney Plus was that it started off in a small building, and I could just, when you showcase the pictures and things, it was like, oh my God, this is the way it really works.
Totally. It really did start out in a small way with this ragtag group of artists and animators and designers and art directors and writers, and ultimately kind of fell into lockstep with Walt's vision, a creative vision to build a park unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. And to think that has led to 12 theme parks later and countless hotels, hundreds and thousands of hotel rooms and restaurants around the world. It's pretty amazing that creative DNA has sort of worked its way through all these different places.
And it starts off with belief and trusting, doesn't it? Because, you had to believe in Walt's vision, and all of a sudden then the team starts to grow, and now you've got to trust that there's going to be a vision that becomes the reality.
Yeah, he believed in people. He believed in people's talents more than they believed in their own talents themselves. He could see through somebody and say, like Blaine Gibson, for example, who was an animator for Disney animation. He was, kind of an in-betweener, character animator, but with sculpting on the side. And Walt saw some of his sculpts in a little display at the studio and said, "You're gonna basically be a sculptor and start sculpting the the various animatronic figures." And he ultimately not only did animals that became animatronic figures, but he did the presidents in Hall of Presidents, and he did all of the presidents' heads. And here he was, this just little guy, animator, partially sculpting, and then now he's doing all these amazing photorealistic heads. So Walt really he could see the long-term potential in everybody.
Well, see, and that helps me understand Tommy Morris's comment when he says that, there were many times that they were encouraged to forget who they were. In other words, they got to be the artists that they are. They, because artwork comes from everywhere, your surroundings, the universe, everywhere.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's what's fun about Imagineering is it's the blue sky development process is truly blue sky. You look up at the blue sky, you can think of anything you want. And there's a lot of work and time that is spent in that phase to think outside of the box and to think inside the box, and then turn the box upside down and tear it apart and rebuild it. And so, that's just what they do.
It's so funny that I love the word Imagineering, because in radio, I didn't like being called, well, he's the producer. He's the commercial producer. I always called it audio architect. And so Imagineering is like it was built, the concept, and then all of a sudden the team. And the team is still just as strong, if not stronger today.
Yeah, for sure. So many disciplines go into Walt Disney Imagineering, and they've got over 500 patents and technologies all over, from ride systems to animatronic figures to ways in which things are sculpted and carved and digitized, and projection technology. And there's so many things that go into any one attraction. But it's all storytelling at the end of the day. It's how do you tell a great story and then use the tools that are out there, or imagine the tools that can be there in 10 years and build towards that.
The book is for business leaders. It's for everyday fans of Disney. It's for everyday people. And what I think the thing that really charges up my imagination is the fact that the only photographs are right there in the beginning, and the rest of the book is what you put on the page. And it's like you see it inside your imagination, which really takes Imagineering right to the test. It says, look, imagine it. It is possible. It will happen.
Yeah. It was definitely more of a challenge to put it on paper than it was to film it and show you and take you there. But you know, when we did the series, I interviewed over 200 people. I traveled all over the world to these parks, went behind the scenes, had unprecedented access. I was up inside the Matterhorn. I was crawling around Pirates of the Caribbean. I was down in the bowels of the Haunted Mansion. I was, writing ride systems before they were even finished. Just really getting a sense of the creative process. And so, to me, I just really wanted the reader, in this case, to be able to imagine it in a way that the series, couldn't do. The level of detail that we were able to put into the book, was gratifying for me, because you just can't put all that into a 6-hour show. Yeah. So I'm just grateful, because the series was originally 90 minutes, commissioned as a 90-minute film, and we built it out because we had so much material, ended up cutting in at 6 hours. So they loved that and put it on Disney Plus. So we were very fortunate. And then Wendy Lefcon at Disney Publishing said, "I know you have so much left on the cutting room floor. How would you like to do a book?" So that was. It was great.
Well, I love the story. It's to infinity and beyond, in the way that the way that it looked like the land, there wasn't enough land there, and you had to build that giant castle, and the way that everything just came together while not offending those that live in China. I mean, you brought two worlds together in one place, and my God, the people came.
Oh yeah, I mean, whether it be Walt Disney World, they never thought that was going to have the traction, before, with how many people came to opening day, and then they ultimately did. But when you look at Shanghai Disneyland, I think they always knew it would get the traction that it did. It was just that, very much in the same way as Anaheim was. Anaheim was in orange groves, and it was just land out there, out in the middle of nowhere at the time Walt built it. And the same thing for Shanghai. I mean, it was out kind of in the middle of nowhere, in marshes and in villages. And so they had to transform the whole area. Now you can't. I mean, now the entire city is built up around the park. In Shanghai. Yep.
So I've heard rumors that you're working on a new film right now. What you doing, or can you talk about it?
Well, I have one project that we just finished. It's for Warner Brothers. It's the history of DC Comics. So it's a 3-hour documentary that we were able to interview all the original artists and creators and people through time. So that was really fun to chronicle that story. And then I'm also I'm in production on a new series with Warner Brothers that you'll hear about soon. They have not announced it yet, but we have been thick into production. And I'm also in development with Disney on another series. So all this will be announced at some point, hopefully soon.
But you're part of the storytelling field as well. I mean, so many times we think the storytellers are those that, write the story itself and then go over and do the production and stuff. But you are carrying a legacy with you, and you take that quality with you the entire way. You are opening the door for a lot of women who want to be leaders in making films.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm very fortunate that I, don't really think about being a woman, but I just do my work and appreciate the opportunities that come my way and the offers that come my way. I love working with talented women in every level of production. And I'm very blessed right now to be working with 3 producers on my show that are all women, and extremely talented, hardworking, and it's just great. It's just a joy.
Wow. It's in a book form, and it's also on Disney Plus, Imagineering. I can't thank you enough for what you are doing, because it does open imaginations, and it helps people believe in the spirit of art.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Please come back to this show anytime in the future, Leslie. The door is always going to be open for you.
Oh, thank you. I will pick you up on that.
You bet. Be brilliant today, okay?
All right, you too.